Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today we're going to be talking about why the Houston Astros need Yanier Diaz in the lineup more often than he's being played right now. I was already planning on talking about this before tonight's game, and I know the Astros lost today. They lost pretty bad, 2-0. First time they were shut out all season, only 3 hits. But Yanier Diaz is only one of the bright spots from this Astros loss today. He had a double, had an infield single that he got on second on the error. He stopped 2 steal attempts today that were trying to get the steal. So he stopped 2 steal attempts today. Great throws, by the way. I mean, dots. I mean, he's improving on everything. His hitting, his batting average is up to 258. He looks way more comfortable not only as the plate as a catcher, but at the plate as a batter. And as Maldonado, continues to struggle, and I know Maldonado's last couple games, he's done solid. I think Maldonado's last 2 games, he's like 3 for 6 or something. Maldonado, and on Sunday's game against the Giants was had an RBI double for a ground rule double, and then had a single, and then yesterday had an infield single, so he's 3 for his last 6. But that's been Maldonado's best stretch of the season, and Yanier Diaz has been effectively hitting well, and not only hitting well, but catching really well. And to be honest, Maldonado is a great catcher. He's one of the best catchers in the league defensively. But his defense has not been as good as it's been in the past. Now, it's been pretty solid. It's doing pretty. His defense as a catcher has been solid, but not as good as it's been in years past. Where this is the only reason why this guy's still in the lineup, because of how good he is as a defensive catcher. But now as Yanier Diaz is starting to become a really good defensive catcher, and Yanier Diaz's offense is heating up, and Maldonado's just sitting here and kind of getting worse as a defensive catcher, and offense isn't going anywhere. You question, when is Yanier going to be catching more? I understand that, Maldonado is a great defensive catcher, and also most of these pitchers, they're comfortable with Martin. Like I said in a different video during a postgame for the Astros, the Astros, you got Valdez and you got Javier, and that's not going to change anything. Maldonado, even if Yanier Diaz, becomes the main starter, Maldonado will most likely still start when guys like Christian Javier or Framber Valdez are pitching, because I don't know about Javier for sure, because maybe at some point maybe Yanier Diaz will start to catch for Christian Javier, but Framber, that's his catcher. That's Maldonado is his catcher. I don't think that will ever change as long as Maldonado's on the Astros. But Yanier Diaz's offense is heating up, and I just don't think you can avoid that, and his defense heating up. I've seen a couple Astros fans say, all right, well, he's hitting well. Why not put him at the DH? No. It's just keeping Maldonado at the lineup, because, yes, Yanier, he's a good hitter, but sometimes if his hitting's not great, if his hitting's not good, sometimes his hitting won't be that great. And everybody has their off days, but when Yanier, he can go through a slump sometimes more like others. And if you have Yanier in the lineup and he's struggling, and then you have Maldonado, he's struggling, I don't like it at all. If you put Yanier at the DH, not even talking about before Brantley comes back. This is in the past. This is in the present tense, where Brantley has not returned yet for the Astros. Then there's not really a spot for Corey Schultz, and he's a guy who's been hitting great in the lineup. Think about this. If Yanier switches to the DH, Dusty tries this change. Yanier goes to the DH. Martin stays at the catcher. Obviously, Abreu at first. Second, Dubon. Shortstop, Pena. Third base, Bregman. Nothing changes in the infield. And then you have right field, Tucker. Center field, Jake. Left field, Jordan moving, because if Yanier's at the DH, then Jordan's at the left field. So there's no Corey Julks in that lineup. And if Yanier Diaz is almost an everyday starter, you're going to see way less of Corey Julks, and he's been hot in the lineup right now. And I'd rather make it look like everything I just said. Jordan at left, switching out with Corey Julks. So I think that's what the Astros have been doing. Jordan's at left one day, then Corey Julks is at left another next day, and they switch between the two. One's at DH, then they switch between, kind of how Brantley and Jordan will be when Brantley returns. And center Jake, right Tucker, third Bregman, shortstop Pena, second baseman Dubon, first baseman Abreu, and then he is behind the plate. If that's I think would be perfect for the Astros until Altuve and Brantley come back. And then you got to line up with, when Altuve comes back, you got Altuve at second, Abreu at first, third baseman Bregman, shortstop Pena, left field Brantley, DH Jordan, center field Jas, because Jas would be back as well, right field Tucker, and behind the plate Yanier Diaz, and then you got guys on the bench like Corey Julks and Mauricio Dubon, hot bats if you need them, and pitch hitting appearances by those two guys. So, and Jake Myers, who's been hitting the ball recently really well. So, I think the Astros, I think they're at a position where I think they're afraid. I don't know about afraid, but don't want to see Maldonado fully just leave, not leave. I mean, he's still gonna be on the team, but I think they want him to still be the everyday catcher, and I don't know if it's gonna be like that the whole season, but I think you just can't avoid how good Yanier Diaz is doing right now. And at what point is he going to become the everyday starter for the Astros? And no, I don't think DH is the option for Yanier. I want him behind the plate. I think he needs to be the everyday starter besides when Framber Valdez or possibly Christian Javier on the mound. But then the other three, starting pitchers, once Javi and Framber Valdez go through their outings and their pitching appearances, then it's time for Yanier to come in. I mean, it's the hitting it's a problem in the bottom of the order. And the Astros have figured out some things in the bottom of the order. I mean, Myers and Corey Julks have been hitting well in the bottom of the order. Myers has been hitting really well as a recent. Corey Julks has been hitting really well all season. Those guys are in the bottom of the order. They've been hitting really well in the bottom of the order. But then you get to Maldonado, he's just been awful. But Myers and Julks in the bottom of the order have been amazing. So to have a really hot bottom of the order with Julks at 7, 8 Diaz, 9 Myers would be a nice bottom of the order, or 7 Julks, 8 Myers, 9 Diaz, however you want to view it. But we'll see at what time the Astros will make Yanier Diaz the everyday starter. When it will be, I think it needs to be soon. But that's the video. If you guys enjoy them, your thoughts, and peace out. Go Astros.